If you have sewn on your sample fabric and it looks something like this, all right, then you are ready to move on to making a pouch, which we're going to make the same way we make the pillowcase with French seams. To make the French seams, you put the right sides out. We're going to fold it in half like a pillowcase. Your thread, your bobbin, your pillow would go in here. We're going to line up the side edges and the bottom edges to the best of our ability. And we're going to put a few pins in to hold it secure until we can sew it. When we sew a French seam, we start out sewing on the right side 2/8 of an inch from the edge on the 2 line. There's no number 2 there, so you would just have to know this is 6/8, 5/8, 4/8, 3/8, and this line here is 2/8. It's near the edge of the foot. Lower your presser foot, start out in reverse and go back a few stitches. If you need to hold the tail to help it sew forward without getting jammed, you can do that. And if you want to remove the pin so you don't sew over it, you can do that. So we're going to go downward. My eye is looking on this 2 line. For many of you, it's going to be the edge of the foot. And you're going to sew down, and then you're going to need to pivot at the corner. So to pivot in the right place, we're going to sew with the toes extending past the fabric and the needle down. I turned the hand wheel to get the needle down into the fabric. I'm going to lift the presser foot. I'm going to lower the foot. I'm going to look and align my fabric back on the 2 line. And I'm going to sew. And what do you think I need to do when I get to the end? Back stitch a few stitches. When I finish that, pull out about 6 inches. I am going to turn my pouch or my pillowcase wrong side out using a point turner to poke the corners into a right angle. All right, nice square corners. Take the time that you need to make it accurate. All right, detail work. Once I've done that and now my wrong side is out, I'm going to pin it with my stitching in the most upright part. All right, I'm going to keep it on the very top. I'm going to pin the first seam on the top, on the very edge. I'm going to pin just a few pins to hold it in place. When you make your pillowcase, you're going to need a lot of pins. This is the small mini version. Okay, get your stitching all the way on the top. Maybe you need a pin to help you pull it up. All right, so the second step of the French seam is to sew it on the 3 line, 3/8 of an inch from the edge. So I'm going to put it in, align it with the 3 line. You know we start out in reverse a few stitches. You can pull the tails if you need to help it start sewing forward. All right, if you're good, you can remove the pin before you get there so you don't break a needle or bend a pin. And we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to pivot at the corner again. All right, we don't want to go quite as far as we did the last time. Turn the hand wheel by hand if you need to. Stop with the needle down. Raise the presser foot, pivot. Lower the presser foot. You should be right on or about the 3 line again. All right, and now we're going to sew. My eye is looking here. My hands are steering. And you know what we're going to do when we get to the end. We're going to go back a couple of stitches. Forward and off. Presser foot up. Take up lever. Up. Thread out about 6 inches. And we're going to cut off the ends. Unpin it. Use your point turner to help you turn it now right side out. And if you've done it correctly, all of your raw cut edges are enclosed in the French seam, and all you have is a nice pouch or pillowcase where you are going to store your bobbin and your spool of thread. Whoopsie, don't let that happen. Your spool of thread every day. Okay, notice this is the same as steps 3 and 4 of the pillowcase. French seam.